In Minecraft, the Warden is considered one of the scariest monsters. While on the oldest Anarchy server in Minecraft, hundreds can be found in the same place. This is just one of the many insane changes that 2B2T has gone through since it finally updated last year. So I thought I'd put together a list of the 10 most notable changes the server has experienced since the modern update. From valleys of wardens, bizarre world generation glitches, quality of life improvements, and even some downright overpowered exploits, it's been an insane year for 2B2T. These changes are listed in no particular order, but I did save one of the wildest ones for last. Now, this may be a common sight in Minecraft, but a scene like this can also be what your browser looks like with Opera GX. Opera GX lets you customize your browsing just like an actual Minecraft world. You can choose your visuals from a large selection of mods, with many of them Minecraft related. You can even customize your audio experience with background music, keyboard sounds, and more. Opera GX actually improves your gaming experience by limiting the amount of CPU and RAM it's allowed to use while in the background. It also has a built-in media player that easily lets you play your own music or music from streaming sites. Opera GX has a built-in VPN to allow for privacy while browsing, and if you're switching over from a different browser, can easily import all of your old settings. You can directly integrate your Twitch, Discord, and TikTok accounts to allow for seamless communication and entertainment. Opera GX's browser assistant Aria can also help you with idea generation, summaries, itineraries, or even finding builds for your favorite game. There are so many customization options just waiting for you to try out. Break up with your boring browser and download Opera GX for free today by going to operagx.gg/fitmc2. That's operagx.gg/fitmc2, or you can click the link in the description box. Thanks again to Opera GX for sponsoring today's video. So let's begin with the 10 most notable changes to modern 2B2T. Number 1. Escaping spawn is harder. Being able to escape 2B2T's wasteland without dying of hunger has always been a rite of passage, and the modern update was supposed to make it easier, thanks to improved animal spawning, new food sources such as glowberries, and the server having slightly modified saturation to account for people with high ping. On paper, this should make it easier, but the issue now are the mobs. They actually spawn properly thanks to the update, and they are everywhere. Since many areas of spawn are shrouded in complete darkness, mobs have become a top killer of new players. Even just trying to get footage at spawn, my alt account was constantly attacked, and thanks to spawn's regional difficulty being maxed out, they often had enchanted items. And in the Nether, piglins are quick to harass travelers, so overall, escaping spawn has become a lot harder. And that's not even factoring in the next change on this list. Number 2. Wardens are everywhere. Wardens are supposed to be an extremely tough mob that you only find guarding ancient cities. Well, it didn't take long for 2B2T players to weaponize them and create warden factories, sending them all over the server to cause chaos. It's common to find them in both the overworld and nether, usually in groups. They've effectively replaced withers as the mob you should avoid at all costs. It's gotten so bad that even just filming them at spawn, my alt account kept getting one-shot through solid lava casts. These mobs are no joke, even to experienced players with gear. Number 3. Glitched world generation. Due to the size and age of 2B2T's world, generating modern terrain works properly, but there are some strange quirks. Since new terrain has generated under old chunks, many users have been reporting fresh structures that seem to generate over open oceans. Desert temples, jungle temples, and even trail ruins have all been photographed and posted. On top of this, a player named Paradox even encountered an area of the server with no bedrock being generated at the bottom of the world, leading to an empty void that you could toss items into. There are plenty of other anomalies as well, but I won't ruin the surprise if you plan to explore. Number 4. Keeping your base safe is easier. Sort of. Keeping a base's location a secret has always been an important survival skill on 2B2T, but for many years, it was possible to follow chunk trails using hack clients in order to see where players had previously explored. Many times, following these trails would eventually lead to a base or stash, but the modern update has made this method no longer possible. This means bases are now more secure by default since you cannot be followed as easily. This can seem comforting until you remember it's still an Anarchy server. When the player base was tracked using the recent Randar exploit, it proved that players were scanning the terrain in a back and forth pattern using bot accounts in order to search for bases. So there's still a chance the things you build could be found by dedicated hunters, but overall, you're much safer. Number 5. The server's economy is healing. For years, item duplication exploits made it easy to obtain overpowered gear and practically every building block in great numbers. But since the update, a massive amount of new items have become available, none of which have been duped, and has forced players to actually go out and obtain them. Without any public exploits, there's no easy way to create large amounts of these new items, which has encouraged the player base to specialize and actually trade with each other. Item shops that sell kits for real-world money do still exist, but are nowhere near as prevalent as they used to be. On the topic of items, I did want to bring up netherite. Despite being a direct upgrade to diamond, it really hasn't impacted the server's meta as much as originally anticipated. The added durability is useful in most situations, but in PvP is rarely a deciding factor in most encounters. But back to the economy, Anarchy players now have to actually engage with the game's vanilla mechanics to get what they want. Number 6. There's no lag. I cannot believe this one. For a server that has historically struggled to run at 20 TPS and has been the victim of countless lag machines, modern 2B2T runs like a well-oiled machine. I specifically remember a time in 2016 where the lag was so bad you couldn't even complete the eating animation and could potentially starve. Cake actually became the best food because you could eat it just by right-clicking it, bypassing the animation. We've come a long way since then, and for a server measured in terabytes, the fact that it runs this well is nothing short of a technical miracle. Number 7. The map art renaissance. When 2B2T was still on version 1.12, there was a limit of around 32,000 map IDs. So if you made art out of maps, it would eventually be deleted thanks to players mass-producing blank ones, which would overwrite the previous IDs. The modern update has removed the 32K limit, so if you create a map art, it cannot be deleted by someone else. This has allowed for more creativity in the community and has resulted in a wide variety of images. Some I can show in this video, and some I can't for obvious reasons. But expect to find random artwork scattered all over the server and available in player trading. Number 8. There are no phantoms. I don't think I need to explain why this is fantastic. Having to sleep in a bed to stop these flying pests from attacking you would have been a massive headache on Anarchy servers where traveling hundreds of thousands of blocks away from your respawn point is common. Number 9. Improved queue times. Minecraft in general has seen a decline in multiplayer activity since the end of the pandemic, and 2B2T is no exception to this. These days, normal queue is less of a wait, progress inside the queue is more steady, and you are able to check the queue's status simply by hovering your mouse over the player count. Priority queue gets you in pretty much instantly, even during peak hours, when just a couple years ago, you could be waiting over an hour even if you paid for the service. But now, it's time for the last and probably most insane change we've seen thus far. Number 10. Tridents are OP. I can't stress just how powerful this item has become on Anarchy servers. Using hack clients, it's possible to send fake Riptide packets to the server to allow you to run and fly at supersonic speeds anywhere. If using an Elytra, it completely removes the need for fireworks. Despite attempts to patch this exploit, players keep finding ways to do it. Recently, a base hunter and streamer named Decto managed to speedrun to the nether world border 30 million blocks out. In a straight line, walking this distance would take almost 2,000 hours, but he managed to do it in 136. Tridents were expected to be a fun novelty on 2b2t, but they've ended up as the definitive mobility tool. These 10 changes only scratch the surface of just how different the server has become, and with Minecraft's most recent update just releasing, there's no telling what major changes may be coming next to 2b2t.